Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Thank you for your time today, Commissioners and Mayor. My name is Justin Harvey. For the record, everything I state today will be directly from the CDC, HHS, VICP, and peer-reviewed research, not misinformation. Last meeting, you all reeled off a few dozen diseases, claiming that they were eradicated by vaccines.
Starting with measles, chickenpox, rubella, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, flu, polio, smallpox, cholera, rabies, typhoid, bubonic plague, tuberculosis, scarlet fever, encephalitis, anthrax, adenovirus, mumps, pneumonia, meningitis, hemorrhagic fever, Lyme disease, rotavirus, papillomavirus, and hepatitis E. All of those have a vaccine.
The statement was made, the reason we don't have smallpox is because we killed it.
And the reason why is we killed it. We all got vaccinated, and the government did that.
Well, I'm glad you all brought that up because today I'd like to dispel one of the most common misconceptions about the vaccination program. Here I have a graph that charts off the decline in mortality of a handful of diseases that were mentioned, like diphtheria, measles, typhoid, polio. And if you notice, some of you may not be able to see it, but there's a little arrow down at the very bottom of every chart, and that's the vaccine introduction. Death from common infectious diseases declined before vaccines were introduced. This is a fact, and this is stated in the American Journal of Academy of Pediatrics. So if they didn't eradicate them, what did? Better question, scarlet fever had no vaccine. What eradicated it? Well, it was sanitation, clean water, better living conditions at the turn of the century. We had health departments. We started using different practices that naturally eradicated the disease before the vaccine was introduced. So I just wanted to let you all know that that is actually what happened in history, and vaccines did not save you. Plumbing, sanitation, clean water did. The CDC even cites this on their website. I'd also like to remind you that in 1956, because it was brought up, things were a little different then. Do you know how many vaccines were given to children in 1956? By the age of 18, they had 5. These days, they get 72. 72, a chemical cocktail that they're never tested in conjunction with each other either. Things are a little different these days. Back then, vaccine makers weren't exempt from liability. Today, they are. You can't sue them. Back then, they hadn't paid out $4 billion to injured families. Today, they have, and I know lots of them, and I speak for them today. That is not some far-off risk to a reaction.
I'm just blown away at people who say we shouldn't get vaccinated because there is some far-off risk of getting a reaction to it.
60,000 injuries and deaths are reported annually from the childhood schedule to the VAERS system. Harvard estimates only 1% is collected. That makes that number about 6 million. Is that a far-off risk? With the COVID vaccine, we've had 15,000 reported deaths to VAERS, 20,000 to the UK system. If that's 1%, do the math. mRNA technology has never, I repeat, never been injected into humans before. If you are partaking in this experiment, then you are the study and you are the research. That is why people are skeptical. That is why people think that there is a risk. And where there is risk, there must be choice. People deserve the right to know these risks. They deserve informed consent. And since the government and the industry do their best to not provide that, then that's what I will do. I would love to make our position more clear and help you understand it more, since you're having such a hard time understanding our position.
I work really hard to understand other people's positions. I am failing to understand people's position on not getting vaccinations.
I'd love for you all to invite me up for a panel, a discussion, a debate, or dinner. Thank you very much for your time.